Hello and welcome to 15-Minute Gamer. My name is Tony and this is 15 Minutes with 15-Minute Gamer. I'm sitting in my brand new comfy chair. Oh, it's so nice to have it. It's so leathery. It's so nice. It's so comfortable. And I'm happy just sitting here talking for 15 minutes in this chair. My little chair was so noisy and annoying that it's in the tip now. Thank God, that thing. 4 years. Served me well, but this is just a big step. Nice little gaming chair. If you don't have one and you sit on the computer a lot, I would recommend it. It's really comfortable just to get a gaming chair. Anyway, we're not here to talk for 15 minutes about gaming chairs, even though that would be interesting, but a little bit boring. You'd probably fall asleep. We're here to discuss this week a topic. That topic is inspired by Tom Clancy's Wildlands, and it is open world games. I've already spent around about 14-15 hours playing Tom Clancy's Wildlands in the last 4 days. It's a really good game. You'll see my full review coming up this weekend, I hope. I just want to play it a little bit more before I'm giving my impressions, because I haven't tackled any of the big bosses yet. I want to tackle a big boss, see how it goes and see if it differs from the smaller ones, and then I can look at doing a review on it. So keep an eye out for that coming. So yes, open world games. I love open world games at a degree. Now it might sound funny. I do love them, but there are so many bad ones out there. There are also a couple of good ones as well. So I thought I'm going to take 15 minutes, now 13 and a half minutes, to discuss what I like about open world games, what I don't like about them, some of my favourites, and some of the worst ones I've played as well. So, for those who don't know, because I know some people aren't total gamers who listen to this, an open world game basically plonks you into a really massive big open world, as the name would suggest, and you go around generally doing some sort of quests, some sort of missions, sometimes a bit of crafting thrown in there as well, and you're just free to explore. If you just want to walk around in circles for 100 hours, the game will let you do that. If you want to just do the missions, it'll let you do that. There's usually missions and there's usually side quests. That's how open world works. They're all very similar in how they kind of deal with that open world aspects. However, some obviously do it better than others. So the reason I like this is because they tend not to be linear. Sometimes there's nothing worse than when you start a game up and you just walk down corridors for hours and hours and hours. You've got 7-8 hours of just walking through a corridor. It gets really boring really quick. And just sometimes when you just, in an open world game, you create the story. Some of my best moments in open world games are not because the game's told me to go to X and Y. It's in between that X and Y where something crazy happens. I've seen something. I've done something, I've been chased, I've been playing online with friends, because open world games do usually have some sort of co-op element in it as well. Ubisoft are obsessed with this at the moment, as we're going to discuss. So they're the moments, it's almost like creating your own story. There's a story there in the game, but sometimes you can really get invested in your own story as well, and creating your characters and, leveling them up and changing clothes and stuff like that. And that's what I love about them. And when I play Wildlands, I do get that sense of, I do really enjoy a lot of the open world aspect of it. However, it also suffers a little bit, well, quite a lot, from what most of the bad open world games suffer from, which is, it's almost like, if you imagine a corridor shooter, you've got a room, you then walk through a corridor, get another room, kill everyone, walk through a corridor, get another room, kill everyone. It's like that, but on a massive big scale. So instead of just walking for 10 seconds between rooms, you could be flying for an hour, driving for ages, and sometimes, and that's what I felt with Metal Gear Solid, the latest one on the PlayStation 4, was that all it was cliffs on either side, and you just it was almost just an open corridor between areas. And that was an example of an open world that, for me, just didn't work. And I got a bit bored of it. And I think I played about 10 hours. And I was just starting to get really bored of it, because it just felt, even though it was open world, it felt claustrophobic. It didn't feel like I was in a living, breathing world. And that is the key. Them words are the key to what makes a good open world game is you have to, in my opinion, you have to feel as if this open world is living, breathing, adapting and changing with your actions and interacting with you as a player when you're going through it. There's nothing worse, and again, Metal Gear Solid was like this. You kind of just, you know, the outposts refilled themselves, and there was not much happening. There was no real random events when you were traveling. So you'll just be traveling for ages and ages and ages on your horse or car or whatever. Get to the location, kill some people, and then rinse and repeat. And that's all it was. I know a lot of people like Metal Gear Solid. I'm not saying it was a bad game. It wasn't a bad game. I actually quite enjoyed it. It didn't need to be open world. That game could have just been, right, here's your mission. Right, I want to teleport there, start the mission. That could have been done like that. And with Wildlands, I do sometimes have the feeling with that sometimes it could have been just that little bit better. Sometimes I do sit there and think, oh, it would be alright if I could just teleport to that location. But it handles it pretty well because there's a lot to see to do. There's gun parts to collect, there's mission files to collect, there's skill points to collect, but not too much. Because that's another thing I don't like about open world games, is when there's too much to collect and you spend all your time collecting rather than playing the game. And I know some collectible people out there. I have a friend who, if you play something like The Division, he has to get every single audio log, file, photo, memory, anything, and you're just like, come on, let's go on for the game. And he's like, sorry, I just have to walk around the corner and collect this point. Oh, and there's another thing to get. Oh, there's another thing. You're like, right, we spent an hour, all we've done is stand in the exact same place, going around in circles, getting these items. That's false. In my eyes, a lot of it is false content. Yes, it's got to have something in there, apart from the missions, because, as I said, they are kind of, that's just what open world games are. They're full of content a lot of the time. But side quests shouldn't be find 100 audio discs, find 100 audio files, find 100 photographs. That's not, for me, not particularly interesting. However, with Tom Clancy's Wildlands, I do like the fact there is the Kingslayer audio file things, which I don't listen to. But when you get intel, when you collect the main intel, it opens up the mission sphere. There's no radio towers to stand upon to look around, which thank God Ubisoft you didn't put in this game. Otherwise, I would have cried. There's nothing like that. When you're flying to the next part of the mission, you'll just land on a bit of land. Go and get your skill point or whatever. Yeah, there might be a few bad guys to kill, but they don't deject from your main objective. The supplies are there, because when you collect supplies, the rebels will not allow you to upgrade, but you then win favour of the rebels, who then you can upgrade your skills using them supplies. So basically, they're in areas where you're going. They're in the mission area. There's a point to then collectibles. You don't collect them and go, well, that's pointless. Yeah, I've got 50 audio files now. This is great. No, these are to upgrade your character. You don't need to get them. If you don't want to get them, don't get them. Yeah, you're going to miss out on upgrades, but generally the game can be played without the upgrades. Yes, they're very good and very handy, especially things like steady aim and stuff, but I don't think you need all of them. I mean, there's a lot of times where I'm sitting there going, actually, I don't really feel like unlocking anything at the moment. There's nothing I really want to improve. I'm quite happy as I am. So, talked a little bit about some of the good things open world games do, some of the bad things they do, some of the annoyed things they do. So, what I look for in an open world game and what really draws me in, it can be one of two things. It doesn't necessarily have to have a great story. An example of a great story is Grand Theft Auto 5. In fact, a game that does open world perfectly, well, almost perfectly, is Grand Theft Auto 5. That game has a great story. I was really invested in the characters. I loved all the characters. Trevor, I hated at the beginning. By the end, I kind of liked him. I was worried about my own sanity. When I liked him, I was like, should I be liking Trevor or not? However, by the end, I kind of felt a bit sorry for him, to be fair. But also on top of that, the open world was a lot of fun to explore. There was Easter eggs. For those who don't know, Easter eggs are little things that are hidden in the game. Like in Grand Theft Auto 5, there's Bigfoot and there's aliens, stuff like that. There's quite a lot in there. And that encourages you to go out and explore. The roads feel alive. There's loads of traffic. There's loads of people. There's loads of movement. There's aeroplanes. airplanes take off and land, they taxi. It's just, there's boats in the water, there's people windsurfing, there's dogs, there's cats, there's it's just, the world feels, it isn't the most interesting setting, granted, because it's just a city. However, that world feels like when you play Grand Theft Auto 5, you feel as if you're there in that world. You know, you've got police cars going around, you've got fire engines respond to fire, paramedics come if you run someone, well, if you kill some people, they will come. It's just, Grand Theft Auto 5 was an incredible environment. And alongside that, The Witcher 3 would be up there in open world games. Really good game. If you've never played it, check it out. The first Red Dead Redemption was a brilliant example of an open world game that had what I call the random effects down to a T. Like, you'd just be riding along on your horse and you'd see like a lady trapped under a cart or something. You'd go and help her. But she would then ambush you and they'd be like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. And there was loads of just random events in that game. And I had a lot of fun exploring that universe. And I'm really excited for when the second one comes out in, I think they said around about the autumn time, so I'm hoping around about August, September, October, probably October time. But I haven't seen too much of it though, which is a little bit of a worry. So they did it well. The first Crysis game was pretty good. Far Cry 3 I quite enjoyed as well. Again, both open world games. Grand Theft Auto 4 went for the open world aspect, but with a real tone to it. So you had to go, like, take people on dates and go bowling and stuff. It was an interesting take on that kind of open world, I guess. It was, a lot of people didn't like the fact you had to go to driving school and stuff and flight school and some of the old Grand Theft Autos. I really enjoyed it. A series that always seems to get right is Grand Theft Auto, and you know, I know as soon as the next game's announced, I'll just go into fanboy mode. I love them games. So now let's talk about some of them bad open world games and what they did wrong in my opinion. First off is a massive one from last year, No Man's Sky. Oh my god, how disappointing was this game. I know they're putting updates in it and I know they're kind of improving now. However, for me, too little too late. What did the game do wrong? It gave you, what was it, 15 trillion planets or something? Don't quote me on that, you know my figures are usually wrong on these sort of things. However, loads of planets. The planets were all dull, boring, there was no randomness on it, there was nothing to see or nothing to do. Why give us that many planets with nothing on? It didn't encourage me to want to explore when there's nothing to see. What is the point in that? I just did not get the point in that game. Also, infantry. Open world games tend to make you pick up an running infantry as well. It didn't do that very well. The infantry was far too small and it just made progress infuriating and boring, in my opinion. Another game from last year as well, Mafia 3. This made the holy grail of sins for open world games, in my opinion. Repetitive, dull missions. Every single mission, once you've played through the first hour or so, was repeated over and over again. Go there, kill them. Go there, kill them. Go there, fetch quest. Fetch quest, go there. Go there, kill them. Over and over, rinse and repeat. Nothing different, nothing to keep you entertained. And that is always my biggest bugbear, as we've discussed a few times in this video. Look, if you're going to give us an open world game, vary it, keep us entertained, keep us going with different missions. Is what Grand Theft Auto 5 done brilliantly. There was so much to see and do. The missions were quite varied a lot of the time, and there was always something different going on. And that because we're running out of time, just to cover some more of the negatives that open world games do, in my opinion. There's always loads of glitches. Your companion AI can be terrible sometimes. There's some awful games where your AI characters just don't do what you want them to do. And especially when you're doing escort missions. Oh my god. So bad. Character progression can be a little bit annoying sometimes. Infantry can be a bit annoying. Unlocking random boring skills and not being able to move into a certain bit or an area without a certain skill that you've got to find hours searching for. Fetch quests. Go here, get that, bring it back. Go there, get that, bring it back. It's so boring. It's been done so many times. Traveling across the map is also a big bugbear of mine. These maps are a lot of the time huge. Give me a way to get from point A to B. No Man's Sky didn't do this, and it's why I got bored. It used too much fuel from your spaceship to go anywhere. Give me the means, give me the fast travel, give me the locations to go to in fair places that don't allow me to sit in a car for hours to get some. And wow, God, I could have talked for 15 minutes longer there, but I'm not going to. That is kind of just an overview. I didn't think I'd be able to fill 15 minutes just talking about open world games. But my God, can I talk sometimes. However, that's it. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a like, drop comments below. Let's talk about your favourite open world games, your least favourite ones. What have you enjoyed? What have you not enjoyed? What's some of your favourite aspects? I know I missed out a lot, like Fallout 4 should have got mentioned. Skyrim should have got mentioned. There's so many open world games. But yes. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it as always. And I'll catch you next week for more. Goodbye.